what is it about peekaboo that children find so interesting? I'm here today to tell you guys why that is and about the psychological processes in development with children that allows them to think that way. In the early stages of life, around 8 to 12 months of age, there's studies done by a Swiss psychologist named Jean Piaget. In those studies, he determined that object permanence develops alongside some other mental processes that I'm not going to get into right now, but they relate tightly to it. And that suggests that when an object is out of view, a child does not seem to realize that it continues to exist. So if you stick something in this desk right here and they can't see it, it's gone, doesn't exist. So that is more or less the reason why peekaboo is so intriguing to a small child. If they can't see your face, you're not there. So it's kind of like popping in and out of existence. It's kind of weird. It's a little weird. I'm sure you guys can imagine how weird that would be if you guys right now had that kind of thing going on and you couldn't tell. Now, Piaget coined object permanence through his research where he performed the blanket and ball study. So in the blanket and ball study, it was more or less, he took a ball, he took a blanket, stuck the ball under the blanket, watched to see if children in different age groups can tell, oh, that object is down there, and if they do, they'll go in and go to try to retrieve it. He found that 8 to 12 months old is around the same time that they decide to go after the toy. There are some problems with that though, and I'm going to point out some problems that you could see with that experiment, and they actually did more experiments to find that it may occur a lot earlier in life, one of those being the child might just not have been interested in going to retrieve the toy before that point. He might have still realized it was there, he or she. And it was, so some argue that it's possible the child simply loses interest shortly after losing sight of the object because maybe they just didn't have the motor skills, maybe they didn't have the interest. And that was done by a psychologist named Speckle in 1992 and another by Reen Baller. I'm going to try to guess her last name is like Bailarjian. And they determined that it actually can occur around 3.5 months rather than 8. And they did an experiment where they presented the child with things they've never seen before to pique their interest, things that they don't normally encounter in their normal life, like a ball would be not one of the things that you would test. It would be like a rainbow car or something like that. And then they would stick it behind a block on a bridge and determine if the child still recognizes that an object is behind that block. And in conclusion, while it does not, the science isn't completely there yet, we don't know exactly what's going on to the fullest extent with object permanence. We do understand that it is a concept out there, and we have a pretty good idea. We're just not fully there yet. To recap a little bit, Jean Piaget coined the term object permanence, and more recent studies have shown that while Piaget had the right idea, his experiments might not have been the most perfect experiments out there, and recent studies say, oh, it's likely earlier in life than that.
Good.